Since New Year's, it's around 5 technically, or 4. I trained early this morning, and then I trained cardio, and then I just trained for a couple hours, and the stream stopped. So I'm restarting now. Getting these fucking rows in. They're feeling good. Lats are swollen. It's gonna be a short and sweet one. To grow. Technically, I've already done that, so goal completed. Oh yeah. I've put on over 30 pounds in the last month. 30 pounds. I plan on packing on another 10 to 20. Feel sluggish when you do that? When I do what? I don't know what you mean. But no, I feel awake, passionate, blessed, lively, grateful, luminary, inspirational. I feel like a legend. I feel like a natural born champion. Rebar says, when you put on 30 pounds in a month, no. Complete opposite, brother. Today's 154 days of semen retention. Packing on mass doesn't make sluggish at all. Being lazy makes you sluggish. Eating the wrong foods will make you sluggish. Ejaculation daily or multiple times a day will make you sluggish. Being around energy draining vampires will make you sluggish. I feel on edge, no pun intended, all day long. I play the bird so I don't expel unnecessary energy, especially upon reactions. This is a respond. I'm responding right now. This is not a reaction. But the fact of the matter is, it's still my set. It's still going to be in time for the next meal. Still going to be time to stretch. Still going to be time to clean. Still going to be time to sleep. It's a lifestyle for me, and it's not going to change. Semen retention, what does that do? I'm not going to get under the depths. You can look up the benefits if you'd like, but raises testosterone naturally, etc. Makes you strong. Better time management, so you're not wasting time. Here we go. Row. Get up, 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 up. Fuck yes. Oh my God.
To stay disciplined, you haven't gone deep enough. And if you still see success as something that might happen, then you are still negotiating with greatness. And greatness never answers those who negotiate. The ones who never reach the top are the ones who live by others' expectations and die in conflict with themselves. Don't be them. Start acting like you're already at the top. Not so others can see.
That'll do it.
So you can be worthy of
Fasting.
what you
I need
believe
mitochondria right
and
now.
if you do it long enough,
Clean my cells.
deep
How long
enough,
should I
and
fast?
persistently enough,
For do you think?
you won't need to declare it.
I would only do 12 to 16 to start.
Big greatness is not
Drink a
created
lot of
in
water,
time
alkaline
and
filtered,
it is forged in the moments no one
juices,
sees.
but
When you work without an audience, when you train
real
without
fruits
applause,
for only sugars, or cut out sugar completely for a bit. Doing a sugar detox is good. Just complex, healthy carbohydrates, vegetables, lean meats,
facing the temptation to quit, and
eggs,
facing the easy invitation of mediocrity.
cardio, move daily.
But the ones who turn silence into a training ground for the mind.
If you want clarity of mind,
Every step on social media. They don't wait
don't post everything on social media.
They don't search for
Don't mindlessly scroll. Don't watch pornography.
A space to shape identity and deepen capability.
Don't ejaculate or ejaculate frequently, at least. You don't have to be fucking extreme like me.
No one cares, yet they
But
live as if today
it does matter, and it does make a difference. I've read many novels and monks, gurus, people all over the world do it, athletes. So if you see the great fitness enthusiasts doing it, and it works for them, instead of judging and sticking to your comfortable pleasures and habits and rituals, you sacrifice, and then you realize that, wow, this sacrifice does have meaning. It does build my life force and natural testosterone levels.
You cannot hide behind an image.
Here we go.
Only discipline and truth remain. Are you doing it because you truly believe, or because you need others to see? Are you repeating because it's right, or because you're chasing short-term recognition? Silence is
Before I was eating a lot of bread and rice.
And that's why
I think that slowed me down.
Stay with it long enough to become different.
It's all mindset more than fucking that. There are certain, like, unhealthy ingredients, of course. Stay away from alcohol, fucking,
They behave as if they're already at the top.
what was I gonna say? Oh, like high fructose corn syrups, anything artificial, preservatives, all these chemicals and fugazi nonsense that you can't even fucking pronounce, then you shouldn't really be eating it. But multi-grain bread, once in a while, I'll eat with some pure Irish butter. But I think it can kind of make you a little sluggish. But it's more your mindset, because I had a slice this morning and I'm fucking wired and training like crazy. So it's more your mindset, it's more your habits and rituals, it's more constantly moving, not sitting and laying and complaining and dwelling and reminiscing and fucking even praying or thinking. It's doing, being, setting schedules and discipline.
You no longer need to declare. Your presence is the clearest proof of
I don't
the
tell people all the
value
shit I'm fucking doing anymore. I used to try
Silence
to
is
say
where
people,
you
inspire
train
people all the time. I
storm,
can't anymore.
where you lay
When
the
you get that
foundation of
discipline,
a strong
you
house,
just have a set
where you learn to
ritual every
stand
single day of
firm
these
when
little
the world
fucking
turns
tiny
chaos.
meticulous tasks.
Don't
And the
be
more of
timid.
them you complete,
Don't
the
dismiss
further
it.
you get that
Step
week.
into
That
it
is how it
and
works.
turn it into your
If you want to
laboratory,
persevere as a man or a
where you
woman,
test your discipline, verify
it's
your
discipline.
beliefs, and
It's
sharpen
habits
your
and
resistance
rituals.
against every excuse to
It's
quit.
doing these reps when you feel a
Ordinary
little
people need
tightness, a
no
little
one
pain,
to feel
a little
validated.
craving, a hunger,
Great people
temptation,
use silence
horny.
as a strategy. They don't
You
need to
fucking
narrate
suffer
everything
for
they do.
long-term satisfaction, long-term fulfillment, not satisfaction. We don't get satisfied.
Will speak at the right time.
Come on up.
Not through words,
Yup.
but
Yup.
through undeniable results. In a noisy world where everyone is trying to shout to be heard, the great ones choose to work in silence because they know when you're truly worth hearing, you don't need to raise your voice. The world will listen on its own. And you won't need to say you're great. Others won't be able to deny it. The question is, are you willing to stay with the silence long enough for it to become a natural part of your journey? Are you steady enough to keep repeating a small action until it becomes reflex? Are you strong enough to push through lonely mornings and exhausting nights without walking away from your commitment, not because someone asked you to, but because it's the standard you chose to live by? Greatness doesn't come when you are seen. It comes when you no longer need to be seen, but still
Think and
act
Grow
as if
Rich,
everything
Napoleon
depends
Hill.
on you. And in truth, it does depend on you,
Read that one.
not on anyone else. In silence, you either evolve or retreat. You either turn repetition into art or turn procrastination into a reason. No one can choose for you, and if you choose wisely, if you live each invisible day with total presence, you won't just rise, you'll become irreplaceable. Don't wait to be recognized before you act like the best. Live as if that position already belongs to you. Let discipline be your foundation, perseverance your weapon, and silence your ally. And one day, when everything seems to suddenly happen, you'll smile, because you'll know nothing was sudden at all. In the silence only you stayed long enough to hear. Those
This
who
is
constantly
fucking
seek recognition
decades
always live in a state of lack.
of habits and
They wait for
rituals.
a nod to begin, a compliment
Very
to continue, a round
meticulous
of applause to feel worthy.
decisions.
While they keep waiting for validation from the outside world, the best have already quietly moved far ahead.
Just moving
Because
forward,
those who create
not
moments
caring
don't
what
need to
others
be
think.
noticed. They don't need the
You don't need the
crowd.
validation. You don't need the
They need
attention.
their own standards
You can
and
try to
an
inspire
unwavering
those who
commitment
choose to
to
be
them.
inspired.
If you only
But
act
no,
when
you're gonna
someone is
provoke
watching,
envy. You're gonna
deepening your dependency. If you
you're
only
gonna
keep
get
going when
haters
someone is cheering,
if you
you're
dare to
building
put
a
yourself out
capacity
there
on
and
the most
chase a
fragile
dream, a vision.
foundation,
Because
emotion.
most people settle and
An emotion is never
they don't like
stable.
it when you believe in yourself.
Great individuals
They don't like it
understand
when
that
you want to
emotion is
grow
not
or
fuel. They don't
open
need
a business
motivation.
or
They don't need reminders.
fucking
They don't need others to believe
shit, go
first
climb a
before they
mountain.
start.
They don't like
begin,
that freedom
they
for you.
sustain, and they
But I'm here to
elevate
remind you that
regardless of
you're
recognition.
sovereign and
The world doesn't
you
reward
deserve
those
to
who
feel
won't
that
shine. It
inner
rewards
peace,
those
that
who have
self-fulfillment
become
of
the
knowing
light, whether anyone is looking or not. You
you
cannot build a
dared to step
meaningful
forward.
career,
You dared to
reputation,
persevere. You
or
dared to
impact
step out of the
if
box
you're still
that
dependent
society
on
has
applause,
conformed and
because there will be
packed
days
you
when
into.
no one praises you, no one acknowledges you, and no one even notices. Those days will separate those who are merely trying from those who've made a no-return decision. You don't need to be seen.
He's a
You
big
need to be
dog,
felt.
yep.
Your
He's a
presence
big dog,
is
up.
deep enough that people cannot ignore you, even if they try. And that doesn't come from performance. It comes from real capability, sharpened quietly, reinforced piece by piece, through repetition so precise it can no longer go wrong. When you act with higher standards than you would under observation, you are defining your value through each specific behavior, not through words or image. Don't use other people's gaze as the measure of your presence. Eyes can be misled, but results don't lie. Don't live as if you're searching for a mirror to reflect your worth. Live
He's a
as
big
if you are
dog.
the mirror, reflecting back to others a standard they can't ignore. True recognition doesn't come from hearing "well done." It comes when you become a reference.
I should say equal sign,
When people
DJ.
mention you not because of what you said, but
You put the
because of
greater
who you
than
become.
sign.
When they don't need
Spartan
you to speak
Warrior is
because
greater
your
than
actions
Travis
already say
Tucker.
everything.
Double
And that's
greater.
the kind of influence
Oh,
that
Travis
doesn't need a microphone,
equals.
doesn't
Spartan
need a
Warrior
spotlight,
is Travis
yet
Tucker.
is powerful enough to make others recalibrate themselves. Ordinary people want attention. The best want to be unignorable. The difference lies here. The first chases the light, the second creates it. The first lives by the crowd's expectations, the second builds their own standard and lives and dies by it, even when no one cares. And if you persist with that standard long enough, eventually the world will have no choice but to pay attention. The unignorable one doesn't need to shout. They don't post daily to prove their effort. They don't have to yell that they're on the right path. They just keep going and let their footprints speak for themselves. They know that lasting recognition doesn't come from being seen early, but from being undeniable in the end. You don't need to affirm every day that you're trying. Let your results be the evidence of your consistency. Because people can argue opinions, but they can't deny reality. And when truth is built through consistent action, you no longer have to prove anything. Everything becomes self-evident. Don't wait for someone to give you a moment to show. Don't wait
I'm
for
keeping
someone
me
to
straight
recognize
now.
your value before you give your best. Recognition
Words
is not the
matter. I
starting
read
point.
something like that, I'm
It's the
gonna
reward.
I'm gonna
And the
call it
reward
out.
only comes to those who don't need it in order to begin. If you still need
'Cause
someone
the
to
truth
believe
is,
in you, you're subconsciously telling
Leonidas
yourself you're not enough.
himself
Those who are truly
would be
ready
very
don't need
proud of
others
me
to
right now.
believe, because they're already
He'd be
acting
doing these
as
shrugs
a
right next to me
brilliant
with a
instrument.
sword.
The world may be silent when you start. Don't use that as a reason to stop. Because greatness doesn't need noise. It needs depth. And depth only forms when your actions are not driven by noise. Don't ask when people will finally see you. Ask instead, are you becoming someone who cannot go unseen? If you want to be unignorable, first become someone who cannot be shaken. Don't become arrogant from praise. Don't collapse from criticism. Don't quit because of being overlooked. That path demands you build strength from within, something no one can give you. And it is that very strength that will make recognition inevitable. Don't live to be recognized. Live to become the
DJ.
evidence. And when you become the evidence, you won't need anyone to assign you value. Because
This is gonna be my best year yet. How do I know? I mean, this is the best start that I've had. This is the best winter I've had so far in my life. And I just had a transformative prior year. Like, when I say transformative, I mean apocalypse. I mean revelations. I mean absolute spiritual awakening. I'm talking just transformation of mind and remembrance of one's soul and gifts, imagination, and visionary, luminary capabilities.
You will only react. And what is that reaction? It is the accumulated result of thousands of repetitions you've done in silence. Did you choose rightly when no one asked you to? Did you hold your standard when there was no reward? Did you train to a point of unbreakable principle? Or did you merely do enough to get by? The answer will not be revealed when you're preparing. It will show when you no longer have time to prepare. Ordinary people believe they'll rise when the time comes. The truth is, no one rises at the last minute. You only fall back to the level of standard you've lived by every day. No one becomes excellent overnight. They are simply already living by a much higher standard than anyone can see. Pressure doesn't create character. It reveals the character you've quietly built. When the spotlight turns on, those who've never trained in the dark will tremble. They'll repeat old mistakes. They'll say things they never thought through. They'll choose emotion over structure. And they'll pay the price. Not because they lacked ability, but because they lacked habit. Not because they weren't smart, but because they never truly lived by the standards they preached. Don't think of training as secondary. Don't treat the unnoticed hours as something you can wing, because that's where you're defining your lowest
DJ says,
baseline.
magnificent physique, Travis. Your conditioning unmatched. 2026, another year of accomplishments and success. Thank you, DJ. Rebar says, how do you unlock your mindset? And have you ever strayed off path like me? Of course I have. But I've developed the superpower of getting right back on, of catching myself when I start to slip up and let my very decisive, progressive, purposeful, persevering habits be replaced with detrimental ones. You have to be able to look in the mirror and say, my future self will be disappointed in you if you don't take control of your body, of your mind, and your thoughts and your actions. Because you're the one sculpting yourself. You're the one who's in the arena. You're the one who's fucking doing the hard work. You're the one who has to not only play the character, not only step into the role, but become it. That's method acting. And I don't believe you're just born into being a bodybuilder. Like, you could be so hyped up on adrenaline and testosterone and be like, yes, this is fate. I was born for this. But the fact is, we all fucking chose. And you'd be lying if you said that. And I can dig deep and admit that. Because I had choices. And I still do. But something inside me has to fucking stick to my plan A. Because you read so much, you study others, and you realize what keeps you at your best, physically, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, and spiritually, emotionally. Bodybuilding will teach you things that nothing else in the world can. So you develop discipline, a relationship with God, a self-love with yourself where you're unfuckwithable even if people come at you sideways, which they will. People don't hate on people who are doing nothing. They oftentimes just leave them the fuck alone and mind their own business. So if you're getting hate, you're getting the people who misunderstand you, judge you. Know that that's a good thing. That means you dared to fucking be different. That means you dared to dream. It means you dared to listen to your intuition and not be controlled. Not be manipulated and conditioned into following every fucking trend. Watching every single sports game. TV shows, movies. Having to keep up with every celebrity of idolization.
But those who excel understand that the secret doesn't lie in complexity. The secret lies in refinement.
But not going after your own dreams.
You must have the patience, the seriousness,
and
respect for the law of progress. Repeat what is right.
Committing spiritual suicide. It's your moral obligation to do what your soul burns and yearns for.
Knowing does not equal mastery, and it
Amen.
certainly doesn't mean being arrogant.
DJ says, Beast Mode Travis, great to hear your words and known you long enough to know greatness is yours in 2026. Thank you, DJ. Look at the results, hard work, very evident. Thank you. Thank you. My lats are swollen. My back feels good. I just missed the monolift and I deadlifted the weight was there. And it felt good. It felt like it was like an isolateral misaligned movement. But I did it like with good form.
And foundations are never handled casually. They must be compacted,
All
reinforced.
right, I think I'm gonna go into a little bit more
every
rows.
single day,
I was doing
without fail.
close grip reverse
When you see someone do
and
something
wide grip for
effortlessly,
lats more.
don't assume it's innate. It's the product of repetition. It's the peak of simplification. Because when something is etched so deeply into your nervous system, you're no longer trying. You're expressing an inner truth. The world admires those
Real
who
talk.
can do the hard things. But the truly unbeatable are those who can execute the simple things with near perfect precision.
Ooh.
In every situation, under every condition, in any emotional state. No hesitation, no misstep.
Nah, I do that. I may not always come at 100%. But I can come back and come back.
They just show up.
Bring 70.
And excellence
I'm that guy who's
on autopilot.
consistent.
Those hungry for
And I don't
progress
always need the cameras on. I train fucking alone. I
Those
train
who go
elsewhere.
far ask, have I truly mastered the basics? That question demands honesty. Are you repeating correctly or just repeating? Are you going deeper or just moving around? Because not all repetition leads to breakthroughs. Only intentional, observant, adjusted repetition produces the leap. You can't soar if your foundation isn't firm.
Does it say
You
back,
can't go
bro?
far if the basics
What kind of
haven't
question
been
is this right
engraved
now?
into
Do you
your
ever feel
subconscious.
lonely
That's why
on
those
that
at the top
bath
never
of...
stop
Oh,
returning
path
to
I
the
think you meant.
fundamentals. They
I know
are
you
the
meant.
ones
Better
who
meant.
learn the simple.
Oh, Jesus.
They're
I feel
not
like people
ashamed
look
to
at
refine
me
the
like I'm an
smallest
idiot.
details.
When I'm trying
To
to...
them,
Too hard for nothing. Those aren't your people. It's as simple as that. It's not he's right, you're wrong. It's just you fucking have made a committed decision, and it's not their decision to understand because it's your life path. And they're so stuck on their life path and their thought patterns and traditions and way of things, how they have to be. It's supposed to be. Supposed to. There's no supposed to's. We spoke in vibrational frequencies, potentially telepathy, before words were created. It's real. So you need to just quiet that fucking noise. Get away from them. And if you can't, if these are people you're enforced and have to be around, just smile and don't explain yourself too much because you're expending too much energy for somebody who's never going to understand you. They're committed to misunderstanding you. So don't let them affect you. Just love and go all in at what you do best. Do what's going to help you persevere and help people along the way. Inspire those who choose to be inspired.
You're no longer just someone who knows,
Here we go.
understands, or practices. You've become the embodiment of that ability. That's
Shit.
where skill meets spirit. That's where excellence no longer...
Last one. No more fucking messages right now. When I try to be extra healthy or get into building my body, okay, one of them is my girl. Jesus, I'm done, bro. I got a row.
They do one
I got a fucking row. This is why I'm single.
because they know you don't have to know everything to be the best.
Yep.
You just have to do one thing so well that no one else can do it better. And that only comes through conscious, relentless, uncompromising repetition. Use the fundamentals. Guard them as sacred in your schedule. Execute them with reverence and commitment as if every time were the first and last. And one day, when people ask you what the secret is, you'll have nothing to say but a simple truth. I just did this every day for years until I could no longer get it wrong. That is the core of excellence. Not flashy, not magical, but utterly unbeatable. Inspiration is a flame, but it is not a sustainable source of truth.
Yes.
It arrives quickly, burns intensely.
The weight's starting to feel real good.
Everything, change your life, conquer the world.
No sharp pain. I feel like I could squat 600 pounds right now. I'm not gonna, but
Often at the exact
I'm saying like that's how my back
moment
feels.
And that's when you realize
Oh,
what keeps you going is not emotion, but structure.
like,
Not inspiration, but repetition.
ooh, I feel good.
Not impulse, but
But a lot of that is adrenaline, testosterone.
What you
So-
do on the days when you feel no motivation.
You don't just jump into something crazy because in these high euphoric moments. Old Trav, before he mastered
But they don't prepare for the moment.
ego and preparation for long-term success,
They feel empty, lost, begin to
could
doubt themselves. Maybe
potentially
I'm
not transmute this energy
But the problem
the best ways
being a good fit.
because he had to live and learn.
The problem is
But
the
I did.
network and action system that rides
Instead of
emotion.
live and repeat you take all these trials and tribulations,
But to go the distance,
and then you develop your own
stronger. Discipline and unconditional
habits and rituals that work best for you.
deeply understand
Yes, you can learn from others and others' mistakes, but
moments of being motivated. You'll stop depending on music.
what works for others best isn't always going to work for you best. So you have to learn your strengths and double down on your weaknesses once in a while.
That principle demands action, regardless of mood, weather, or feelings. Because greatness doesn't depend on how you feel. It depends on how you act when you feel like doing nothing. The best don't work when they're excited.
I'm going into calves.
They work because they've decided that their actions are not dictated by passing emotions. They understand that if actions depend on feelings, results will always fluctuate. But if actions are tied to a system of repetition, then results become inevitable. And do you know what's most powerful?
Yeah.
When repetition runs deep enough, it no longer drains your willpower. It becomes instinct, reflex, a new normal. And at that point, you're no longer trying. You're simply living by the new standard you've written for yourself. You'll notice that ordinary people burn bright at the start of the week, post their promises, show off their determination, but within a few days, they vanish. They disappear with their inspiration because they haven't built discipline. They haven't tied behavior to a system. They haven't trained repetition to the point it forms a firm neural structure. Meanwhile, the excellent don't need to announce anything. They don't need to display commitment. They just show up. Quietly, consistently, precisely. They make each day a non-negotiable cycle. They don't ask, do I feel inspired today? They ask, what's next? Repetition isn't flashy. It doesn't bring emotional highs. It can even feel boring. But that boredom is the first layer of dust most people ignore. Beneath that dust lies the gem you're seeking, true capability. Not everyone gets past the dust, but those who do will gain something the rest of the world can't catch, because they've survived the phase where everyone else gave up. You may not be more talented than others, but if you repeat the right thing longer than they do, you'll surpass them. You don't need to explode. You just need to be consistent. And that consistency over time creates a gap that others can't close unless they match your level of commitment. Inspiration can create a brilliant start, but only repetition delivers a glorious finish. Don't confuse every day looking the same with boredom. Every repetition, if you look closely enough, carries refinement, a new perspective, a sharper feel, a quicker reflex. And all of these combined create a difference that those who only act when inspired will never attain. Inspiration is beautiful, but it's unreliable. It's a guest that comes and goes. You can welcome it, but never let it run your schedule. Build a system where repetition is the foundation, a habit that, even when you're tired, you still act. When you doubt yourself, you still show up. When no results appear, you still don't quit. Because you know each repetition is quietly constructing your strongest version. You don't need to feel strong to act, but with every act, you become stronger. And that strength doesn't come from one special day. It comes from a chain of ordinary days executed with extraordinary repetition. If you maintain that long enough, one day you won't need inspiration to continue. You become the system that cannot be stopped. Don't wait for inspiration to begin. Just begin and let repetition reawaken inspiration if it needs to. But even if it doesn't return, you'll still move forward. Because you don't live by emotion, you live by standards. And those standards, if held firmly enough, will take you where inspiration alone never could. Discipline is not a tool. Discipline is identity. As long as you still have to force yourself to stay disciplined, it means you haven't truly lived with it. You're still borrowing it as a means, not living with it as part of your bloodstream. And because of that, you'll always feel exhausted, always count each step, always need to remind yourself to do the right thing. But those who have truly transformed no longer see discipline as an obligation. They see it as definition, as a language of living, as the only way to exist. in alignment with the values they've chosen. Most people act for results. They ask, how do I achieve this goal? But the excellent ask a different question. Who do I need to become for that to be inevitable? That question doesn't revolve around plans. It revolves around identity. It doesn't lead to a to-do list, but to a role to embody, because no one can sustain behavior long-term if identity doesn't change. You cannot behave like a winner if inside you still see yourself as someone merely trying, and you will never feel worthy of the summit if every day you live like someone who's just experimenting. To make discipline no longer a burden, you must detach it from emotion and attach it to self. When you begin to live as if discipline is an inseparable part of you, you no longer need to convince yourself. No more hyping yourself up, no more inner debate between want and should. You simply act because it's what you do, as naturally as breathing. Those who haven't formed that identity need calendars, alarms, sticky notes. Those who are aligned with it just need to wake up. And the action flows. No hesitation. No negotiation. The secret isn't in what you do during a few strong days. The secret is whether you can keep doing it when no one's watching, no one's cheering, and no quick results are fueling your motivation. Only those who live with discipline as part of their bloodstream can sustain effort through the foggy phase. And it is precisely in that fog where foundations are forged into steel. You don't need to act tough, you just need to act with non-negotiable consistency. Because that consistency will redefine the image you hold of yourself. And once you see yourself as someone reliable to yourself, you will begin acting like someone who has already won, not needing results to confirm it, not needing others to agree. When you live like someone, the world has no choice but to treat you. But to get there, you must pass through the phase where most people quit, where nothing is clear yet, but you keep your promise to yourself every single day, where you wake up early and reminded you to. Say no to the easy path, even though no one would stop you if you chose to slack off, where you do it one more time, even though no one is counting how many times you've tried. Those are the moments identity is formed, not through words, but through repeated actions until you can no longer act otherwise. Ordinary people live by inspiration. The excellent live by and those standards cannot be circumstances, cannot be negotiated by fatigue, cannot be broken by fleeting emotions. Discipline is the one thing you can fully control in a world full of uncertainty. You are no longer someone who chases results. You become the one who creates results. Regardless of the condition, living like already won doesn't mean boasting or complacency. It's the precision of someone who has mastered the rules of the game. To see success, to live like a person, you live like a then success has no choice but to follow. Because behavior creates reality. And when reality hasn't caught up yet, consistency is the only proof you need. Set a standard so high that you feel ashamed to break it. Act as if every step you take is being recorded, not for others to watch, but for you. Let every behavior in your day be a quiet declaration. I no longer return to the old version of me. And when you keep that flame alive on watching, you'll enter a zone where there are no, not because they're weaker, but because they can't live the way you do. Identity is a silent declaration that you've stepped into a new level. You're no longer trying to become someone, you're just living in alignment with who you already are. And once that identity is solid, no one can take it from you. Not time, not setbacks, not temporary failures. Because what you've built is not a title. It's a nervous system soaked in a standard that cannot be negotiated. From today, stop acting like someone who's trying to be disciplined. Act like someone for whom discipline is the default setting. No second option, no room for bargaining, only you. with a new identity, a new standard, and a life that no longer has any willingness to return to the old path. When you live like someone who has already won, you no longer need to announce anything. The world will feel it. In every action, you no longer need to explain. No one builds greatness from perfect moments. Every solid structure begins with imperfect days that were still carried through. Because what creates the difference has never been the perfection of each action, but the unlimited frequency of the person who does them. While most people wait for a clear morning, a good mood, or a sign from the universe to begin, those who truly go far show up early. Not needing to be ready, not needing to be perfect, only needing to be on time with themselves. You don't need to get everything right on the first try. In fact, you don't even need to get it right by the 10th. But you do need to show up day after day. Whether the work is bad, your mind is cluttered, or you feel like you're not progressing at all, you still have to be present. Because every time you show up, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. You're building a chain of behaviors that will gradually reshape your identity. And when identity changes, results become inevitable. Progress doesn't happen on perfect days. It happens on the days when you want to give up and keep going anyway. It happens when you have nothing special to show, but still quietly repeat the right behavior. Those times go unseen by others, but they are the most important bricks in the structure you're building, because it is your consistent presence on the bad days that most clearly signals you are heading in the right direction. Ordinary people quit when they feel they're not doing well enough. They believe that if they can't do it perfectly, it's better not to do it at all. But those who understand the nature of growth think differently. They know that showing up, even if only achieving a small part, is better than doing nothing. They understand that imperfect actions, repeated consistently, create long-term power. Because it's frequency, not temporary quality, that ultimately shapes the outcome. Don't let perfectionism steal your consistency. Don't let one bad session make you doubt the entire journey. Don't judge the system by a single moment of distraction. You don't need to be excellent today. You just need to not let one day turn into 3 and then into a loss. As long as you're still showing up, behavior is still reinforcing the roots, even if you haven't yet seen the fruit. True strength lies in the ability to continue, not in the ability to be instantly great. Because every time you keep going, even in exhaustion, you are expanding your threshold for endurance. Every time you show up without, you're carving into your nervous system. I am someone who acts, someone who waits for feelings. And that alone will carry you further than it ever could. There will be sessions when you feel like you've done it wrong. You might make no notice, but you still win. You didn't give up. You're still ahead of the one who didn't act. Reinforcing the link between yourself and the system you committed to. Not perfect, but consistent. Not flashy, but relentless. That is a level of grit very few have the courage to maintain. Perseverance doesn't create instant glory. It just quietly works, silently, noise. But if you look back after 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, you'll see it has built something no one expected. And that difference didn't come from a brilliant moment. It came from the hundreds of times you showed up under conditions no one would call ideal. And yet you never made an excuse to retreat. Learn to show up as a sacred duty, even just for 5 minutes. Even with one small action. But let yourself know you did not betray the commitment. When you train yourself to show up, realize greatness doesn't come from explosive energy, but from a small, uninterrupted current, and you will no longer be tempted by the idea of having to do it well. You'll just need to keep going, a little each day, to ensure the current never breaks. No one reaches the finish line by sprinting alone. The one who finishes is the one who doesn't stop. You don't need to be fast. You don't need to stand out. You just need to keep pace. Keep your promise. Keep the rhythm. That is how ordinary people become extraordinary. Noticed becomes an irreplaceable example. And the most beautiful part is, anyone can do it if they abandon the need to be perfect and choose perseverance instead. From today, let go of the need to do things brilliantly. Simplify everything into show up. Let time, repetition, and your nervous system take care of the rest. You only need to prove one thing each day. I'm still here. And that alone sets you apart from 99% of the world. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be present. And everything else will recalibrate with time. Obsession is not a flaw. In the world of the excellent, obsession is fuel. Those who achieve extraordinary success don't do more things than others. They go deeper into one thing, to the point where every distraction becomes irrelevant. While most people are pulled in every direction by hundreds of options and thousands of concerns, the person at the top channels all their energy into a single point. Not because they can't do other things, but because they understand this truth. If you want the extraordinary, you must eliminate the ordinary. You can't go deep if you keep jumping from one thing to another. You can't master the game if you keep changing the field. Ordinary people say, I want to succeed, but they also want rest, entertainment, balance, to try a bit of this and a bit of that. They live scattered, and that scatteredness kills depth. Without strong focus, everything they do remains average. Nothing is pushed to its limits. No skill is sharpened to the level of reflex. No achievement reaches the point of irreplaceability. They're not lacking intelligence. They're not lacking energy. They're just deluding themselves by trying to have everything, and the result is they get nothing remarkable. In contrast, the excellent have only one thing in mind. One goal, one standard, one vision. And they organize their entire life around it. Their schedule, their habits, their people, their words, their energy. Everything aligns to a single center. They don't try to be well-rounded. They choose to become irreplaceable in one field. And to do that, they're willing to let go of everything else, no matter how appealing, no matter how celebrated as balance. They understand that balance doesn't create breakthroughs, focus does. And the highest form of focus is obsession. Obsession makes you restless if a task is left undone. Obsession makes you think about your goal even while resting. Obsession makes you itch at wasting time on anything that doesn't serve your mission. Outsiders will see you as extreme. They'll tell you to relax. They'll warn you about losing balance in life. But they don't understand, because they're not headed where you want to go. They speak as if you're sacrificing something, but you know the truth. You're not sacrificing. You're investing
Shit.
in the one thing that makes
I'm invested
everything
in
else
this.
worthwhile. The excellent don't need a reason to work an extra hour. They don't need reminders to double-check the details.
That's right.
They don't need to force focus, because their minds are programmed to snap back to the goal whenever they drift.
Some hairy
And this isn't luck. It's the result of a decisive choice to give up
know.
distraction, to live in clarity, and to commit every part of themselves to a path of no return. From there, obsession becomes the operating system. No one has to enforce discipline, because they literally cannot live any other way. You'll see them wake up early without alarms, dive deep into work without needing reward, dig into a problem to the point others find boring, but they continue because they're not chasing novelty. They're chasing precision. And they know that precision only comes after thousands of silent repetitions. They don't need to talk to everyone. They only need those who elevate their focus. Not perfect. They don't spend time explaining what they're doing, because they themselves are the most powerful explanation. Obsession is also a filter. It makes decisions easier. You don't struggle with dozens of options daily. You just ask, does this serve the thing I'm obsessed with? If not, it's tough. No hesitation, no compromise, and that simplicity, when practiced long enough, becomes a massive lever. Because you stop wasting energy on the meaningless. All of your life force is channeled into one direction. And that's when you produce results others cannot replicate. Obsession doesn't make you robotic. It makes you sharp. It makes you deliberate. It forces you to live selectively. And one day you'll realize you no longer want to live a just enough life, you want to live with depth. You want to reach the highest tier of ability that you know is latent within you. And you know that to get there, you can't divide yourself among everything. You must pour everything into one thing, the only thing worth living for, training for, suffering for, and ultimately winning for. Stop feeling guilty for being too focused. Don't apologize for living as if everything revolves around one goal. That's not abnormal. That's a sign you're serious. And seriousness is rare in a time where everyone treats themselves casually. When others choose variety, you choose depth. When others choose surface, you choose substance. When others play to explore, you play to win. That's the difference that creates position. From today, stop asking whether you're too obsessed. Ask the opposite. Am I obsessed enough to become irreplaceable? If the answer is no, then you know what to do. Not to add something new, but to subtract the things that stop you from going deep. And one day, the world won't call you obsessed anymore. They'll call you by one title alone. As long as you keep an escape route in your mind, you haven't truly entered the game. If your heart still holds two options, go all the way. Or retreat if things get hard. You will always go easy on yourself. You will allow fatigue to speak. You will let doubt sink its teeth into your determination. And you will never go far. Because the weaker part of you knows this. If things get too tough, things will turn around. But those who create miracles leave no way back. They don't give it a try. They don't take it step by step. They burn the bridge on day one. Because they know, as long as there's an escape, the will loses direction. Don't confuse flexible strategy with commitment. A flexible person can change their approach, but never their decision. A person who isn't truly committed always leaves every possibility open, and as a result, no possibility becomes strong enough to manifest. A half-hearted commitment is the shortest path to procrastination. You act with a testing mindset. You try, but always with a hint of caution. And then, after just a few minor setbacks, a few moments without visible results, you quietly withdraw, without anyone needing to push you out. The excellent don't bet on luck, they bet on themselves. And when they do, they bet everything. They hold nothing back. They don't scatter energy across backup plans. They understand something the average person avoids. To open a new door, you must slam shut the old ones. To move forward with your full mind, you must first make sure the exit no longer exists. No plan B. No, if it doesn't work, then forget it. There's only one path, and you walk it until you arrive. When you truly eliminate the way out, something miraculous happens. Your brain stops negotiating. It no longer wastes energy on the question, should I keep going? Every mechanism within you reaches toward one objective, how to move forward, how to overcome, how to succeed, no matter what. The pressure of having no other options awakens your creative instinct. You become sharper, tougher, bolder, and that urgency becomes the launch pad that unleashes a potential you've never accessed before. Ordinary people chase safe solutions. They want success, but also want peace. They want to rise, but they want to cut their Selfishness says, I determine that I'm getting at it, and that reservation is the clearest proof they haven't truly stepped in. If you want to win, you have to create real pressure, not external pressure, but internal pressure. The pressure of someone who has decided not to turn back. The pressure of one who has shut every door behind them. The pressure of someone who knows that if they don't succeed, there is no other option but to keep fighting until they do. And that pressure is what transforms you from someone trying into someone irreplaceable. Stop talking about seeing what happens. Start living as if it will happen, because you will make it happen. Act like someone with no plan B. Move forward as if you pulled up the bridge behind you. Live like someone with only one option left to survive. Move forward. And you'll see, right there in the space with no way out, you'll find yourself. Not the hesitant version, but the one that cannot be conquered. Ordinary people are afraid to burn the boats. The excellent understand. When the boat is burned, they'll learn to swim, and swim better than ever before. Because when all options are gone, energy no longer scatters, it concentrates, it erupts. And that eruption will carry you through waves you once thought were impossible. No way out, no excuses, no detours. Only one direction, forward. And if you are brave enough to live that way, nothing will stop you. Not circumstances. Not failure. Not fear. Because you've become the one others only dream of becoming, the one who never turns back. Results don't betray you, but they also don't come to comfort you. They arrive at the very end, after the process has been paid for deeply enough, consistently enough, and long enough. And if you fixate solely on the destination, you'll soon resent the path. Because the path isn't glamorous, it's never as fast as you want, it doesn't always provide clear feedback. There are stretches where you progress far without seeing anything tangible. There are days when you do everything right but feel no reward. And if your mind relies on outcomes to stay lit, your fire will fade long before you ever see the light. Ordinary people are obsessed with results. They measure their worth by numbers. They live and die by feedback, likes, and recognition. But those who truly go far are different. They don't glorify results. They respect the process. They love what they do each day, not because it brings something, but because it's how they live in alignment with their standards. They don't need to see anything immediately. They just need to know, today they showed up. They did what needed to be done. They stayed in rhythm, and that is enough. Because what you can control isn't the result. Every result is a consequence of something deeper. Your system, frequency, standards, mindset, and habits. You can't dictate when the result arrives, but you can always control how you act each day. And if you do the right thing enough times, in the right way, the result will arrive on its own schedule. But if you demand it too soon, you'll be disappointed. Then you'll doubt. Then you'll look for shortcuts. Then you'll quit. Not because the process didn't work, but because you lacked the patience to honor the laws of evolution. The best don't chase every metric. They don't check their achievements daily to ask, is this worth it? They know what they're building takes time. They don't need to see it yet to believe. They believe first, then they see. They act on the principle, if I do the right thing consistently and deeply enough, the right results will follow. And because of that, they go further, not because they're fueled by instant success, but because they're anchored by long-term belief. The process is not something you endure to get the result. The process is where you become the person who deserves the result. It's the space where you develop ability, build inner strength, and shape identity. If you only love the result, you'll rush everything. You'll find ways to cut corners and shorten the journey. But if you love the process, you'll engage every step with full presence. You'll value each mistake. You'll learn from every fall. You'll repeat what's right, without fatigue, without applause. No one sees you relearn a small skill 100 times. No one witnesses you correcting one thought each morning. No one claps when you say no to the easy choice to uphold your standard. But those small acts, done with self-respect, are what carry you to places others only watch from afar. And the irony is, when you stop depending on outcomes, they tend to arrive faster than ever. Don't confuse perseverance with resignation. Resignation is when you act without belief. Perseverance is when you act because you believe. Perseverance doesn't require excitement. It only requires loyalty. Loyalty to the path, to the process, to the better version of you that you're becoming. And that loyalty, over time, accumulates into unshakable belief, not because you've seen, but because you've become. Loving the process means refusing to let emotion set the pace. It means taking action even when no one sees, when no one applauds, when there's no instant result. It means living by systems, not by expectations. Letting behavior define you, not achievements. It's understanding that repeating what's right when no one's watching is where character is forged, and from that place the result must come. As an inevitable, unavoidable consequence, the outcome is a reflection of quiet behaviors. It comes when you no longer need it to prove anything. It comes when your commitment is deep enough that it no longer shakes based on when it arrives. And you realize what matters is not when will I succeed, but how did I live through the process. If you lived well, fully, and true, then no matter the result, you've already won. Because the true winner isn't the one with the most accolades. It's the one who can be proud of how they walked the path. From today, stop asking, when will I see the result? Ask instead, am I living right in the process? If the answer is yes, you have nothing else to question. Let the result be the proof that comes later. You love each step you take, because that step, not needing applause, not needing spotlight, is the clearest sign you're on the right path. And that path, if maintained long enough, will take you to a place no money can buy.
What do I want to do now?
Paid for through consistency, integrity, and a deep love for the process itself. No true resilience is born from the crowd. No excellence is shaped under applause. The best, most resilient, most dangerous people you've ever known all went through long periods of isolation. It wasn't a punishment. It was the necessary space to build something the world could never break. There they trained without anyone cheering, repeated in silence, kept the rhythm when all emotion was gone, and did the right thing when no one reminded them to do anything at all. That is where you learn how not to need motivation, because you've become the source of it. Excellence is not shaped by glamour. It is the consequence of an unseen rhythm, a rhythm of discipline, of habits, of repetition, so ingrained that your body moves before your will even awakens. You don't wake up early because you have to. You wake up early because that's who you are. You don't work because someone's watching. You work because you refuse to be ordinary. And that doesn't come from motivation. It comes from repeating the small things daily until they become your very nature. The weak rely on emotions to act. They wait for inspiration, for praise, for results. The strong rely on systems. They aren't dependent on their environment. They don't need applause. They only need a space quiet enough to sustain their own rhythm. And you know what happens in that silence? Your consistency starts speaking to your potential. It says, I won't quit. I won't break the rhythm. I won't act on whims. I'm here every day. And after some time, your potential has no choice left. It must erupt. The repetition isn't boring. It's where strength is forged. The greatest martial artists don't practice 10,000 different strikes. They practice one strike 10,000 times until there's no room for doubt. The best writers don't wait for inspiration to fall from the sky. They write every single day, even when the words resist. The most legendary founders don't build success from a few inspired moments. They show up in their work more than anyone else. Enough for consistency to defeat even genius. But no one tells you that this process is lonely, that there will be days when you doubt yourself, that you'll see your friends partying while you're still sitting there learning one more skill, that you'll miss fleeting pleasures to keep a long-term promise to yourself. And only in that loneliness can you hear the deepest voice inside. You were not born to be like everyone else. You were born to live by the standards you chose. And the price of high standards is that few will walk beside you. But the reward is just as great. You become someone irreplaceable. Rhythm, repetition, and solitude, three things that aren't appealing at all, are precisely where resilience is born. Everyone wants quick results. Everyone likes constant change to avoid boredom. But those who go the distance are the ones who learn to dance within repetition, who know how to keep a fresh mindset while walking the same old steps, who find depth within the most basic of things, because they understand without a solid foundation, no peak is truly sustainable. And remember, the peak is not for those who chase temporary feelings. It's for those clear-minded enough to understand this. Success doesn't come from doing extraordinary things once, but from doing the basics extraordinarily day after day. While the world out there is chasing variety, you, if you want to break through, must choose depth. While others change directions every week, you must be the one who holds the course for years, even decades. And only repetition, done right, in solitude, will give you that power. When you live long enough in the rhythm of discipline, something magical happens. You no longer have to push yourself. You no longer need reminders. Everything begins to flow. You no longer wrestle with motivation. You no longer doubt. You simply live. As if this were the only way you know how to exist. And that, right there, is when excellence has fused into your bloodstream. You no longer need to force it. You have become it. Choose rhythm instead of emotion. Choose repetition instead of novelty. Embrace solitude instead of demanding applause. Because if you live rightly for long enough, the world will no longer be able to ignore you. And by then, they'll think you're a genius who came out of nowhere. But you and I know the truth. You were born out of the place no one saw, on the days no one cared, through actions no one clapped for. You built yourself with rhythm, repetition, and solitude. No one becomes great by staying in their comfort zone. No real strength is ever born from a state of absolute ease. If you're trying to avoid pressure, you're also rejecting the very opportunity to become your strongest self. Pressure is a gift that life never gives randomly. It only shows up when you move closer to a higher standard. And how you respond to pressure will define you. Ordinary people run. The excellent seek it. Pressure doesn't kill you. The way you think about it is what breaks you. Most people don't fail because they're not smart enough or talented enough. They fail because they don't know how to stay grounded when pressure appears. They never practiced facing it. They panic, blame others, and look for excuses to retreat. Meanwhile, winners behave completely differently. They see pressure as an invitation to level up, an invitation to dig deeper into themselves and discover areas of strength they'd never touch without being challenged. Pressure reveals your true character. When everything is easy, you can pretend to be calm, capable, trustworthy. But when challenges arrive, when you're tired, criticized, lonely, or forced to do something hard, that's when all the masks fall off. Only the core remains. And if you've built that core on discipline, initiative, and responsibility, you'll stand tall. But if you've only lived through appearances, pressure will crush you without even trying hard. Some people believe they'll prepare for pressure when it arrives, but no one learns to swim in the middle of a whirlpool. High performers don't wait for pressure to react, they go looking for it. They put themselves in difficult situations on purpose. They choose heavier training. They step onto the stage before feeling ready. They make commitments while still afraid. They live as if a day without pressure is a day without growth. And that choice, to face things head on, gives them one thing others don't have: the ability to respond calmly in any situation. Not everyone is strong from the beginning, but anyone can train to become unbreakable. Resilience isn't the ability to feel no pain, it's the capacity to recover faster than others. Every time you face pressure without running away, you raise your threshold a little. Every time you stand firm, even if shaken, you send a clear message to yourself. I don't fall easily. I don't quit easily. I was born to do great things, and over time you'll surprise even yourself with the strength you've built. Successful people don't pray for pressure to disappear. They pray for enough wisdom and courage to walk through it without losing themselves. Because they understand pressure is how life filters the average from the exceptional. It's not fair, gentle, or predictable. But it's that very harshness that produces extraordinary people. And if you always avoid, always choose ease, always postpone the hard stuff, you are rejecting the very opportunities for real growth the universe is handing you. A man once said, steel becomes sharp not because it's caressed, but because it's forged. People are the same. You won't become formidable if you only train when it's convenient. You won't grow tougher if you always pick the path with the fewest stones. If you want to do extraordinary things, you must actively seek out situations that make you nervous, afraid, uncomfortable, and stay in them until you find your calm. That's not punishment. That's reprogramming. If you want to lead others, you must learn to stay calm under pressure. If you want to build a major career, you must learn to make decisions amid chaos. If you want to protect what you love, you must become the most reliable person in any crisis. And none of those traits can be built if you live only in safety. They're only forged when you consistently step into places others don't dare to go. The weak hope life is gentle. The strong prepare for storms. And nothing is more valuable than a mind trained through
I jumped out of a fucking plane. I bushwhacked through the woods, hiked mountains in the snow, get on the edge of cliffs,
within you has become your most reliable resource. And once you
pushed
have
my
that,
body to the
you can go
extremes.
farther than anyone, no matter how rough the road may be. Don't live like someone
Preparation.
chasing comfort. Live like a warrior, seeking the place where you are meant to be forged. Set your own challenges. Seek out hard environments. Choose responsibilities that exceed your current abilities. Because you know this truth, without pressure there are no worthy leaps. And if you can become the one who no longer fears pressure, you'll become the one who nothing can stop. On every path to success, strength alone isn't enough. You must understand the rules of the game. Because the world doesn't operate according to your emotions. It moves according to invisible principles, cold, sharp, and often ruthless. The winner isn't the strongest, but the one who reads the game best. The one who observes, measures the rhythm, chooses the right moment to strike, retreat, or pivot. The one who knows that if you can't read the game, all your effort is just charging into a wall blindfolded. Every profession is a battlefield. Every market is a constantly shifting map. Every game has its unspoken rules, silent codes, and behavioral patterns that insiders know well, while outsiders are always lost. If you enter the game with nothing but the spirit of trying your best, without taking time to decode how it operates, you're living on emotion, not strategy. And eventually you will be eliminated, not because you're not good enough, but because someone else is more strategic than you. Top performers don't play every game. They choose the field, the rules, and the position that best amplifies their strengths. They don't throw themselves into places where they lack an advantage. They observe, gather data, analyze players, identify system weaknesses, and only then do they act. They don't act to ease anxiety. They act when they've grasped most of the variables. That's not hesitation, that's strategic thinking. Reading the game is the ability to feel its rhythm, when to accelerate, when to conserve, when to wait, and when to break through. It's the art of blending clear reasoning with instincts honed
Alright,
through
chat, we're gonna
experience.
call it now.
A great game reader isn't the one who knows the most, but the one who remains most lucid amid chaos.
Amen.
They don't follow the
crowd. What a session. We trained hard today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Stay blessed. Stay shredded. It's growth season. All right. Namaste. Yo. I hate to say hi and bye, but you're catching me at the end, noob. Have a blessed day, bro. Happy New Year, everybody. See y'all tomorrow or the next day. Maybe even tonight. We'll see.